Manever I say ma PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV there, osia dem yopo.
You are most welcome to PENDREAM TV, the only channel that brings you the best and latest updates in politics. If you are new here, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell for more updates, like and also share to other members to watch as well. Please, your comments are most important to us. Do leave a comment after watching or send us your voice note on our WhatsApp number, which is 0277 128 777. Thank you. Please, I would like you to join me listening to what we have for you today and leave a comment after watching as well. Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, I entered at the tail end of the conversation, but I heard what the majority leader said, especially when you made reference to a member of parliament. He has run elections in third term, I'm sure. So he must understand, and he should know what it takes to enter this house, to be a member of parliament. And for members of parliament who have executed elections, very difficult elections, won elections, to represent their people, to come here, and for the majority leader who should know that these are people who have worked here in the shadows of giants, and to tell them they don't have numbers, and that is seriously a problem. And right now, Speaker, I have listened to the majority leader consistently in press conferences anytime he talks about tax exemptions, and I've decided that I will raise this issue. But I want to put it on record, Mr. Speaker. This House, not even during the NDC period, we have approved over $1 billion Ghana cedi on tax exemptions for the Akufo-Addo government on the so-called one district, one factory. The basis for the one district, one factory was that, one, it was going to really address the export and reduce our exports, basically increase our exports and reduce our imports. It will stop rural-urban migration and really create jobs. After billions of Ghana cedis spent, not only on exemptions, but money spent to reduce interest payment for companies, so-called companies. Let me ask the majority leader a question. Exactly what has the 1D, one factory done in terms of reducing unemployment in this country? In fact, the Minister of Finance in 2023 was here and said that, in fact, our import bill is now $10 billion higher than when we started 1D, 1F. In fact, I'm humbly submitting that the 1E, 1F that will prompt exemption is a complete failure. And there's basis for us not even approving the exemptions, because you've wasted our money and there's nothing to show for. You're just shopping around looking for companies who have already been established for 20 years and labeling them 1D, 1F. We know that.
And then give them taxes.
Give 1 billion Ghana cedi to a private citizen and come here and tell us that today the total jobs you've created is 171,000 jobs. That is why it's a failure. And so we must debate that. And your argument is not grounded in this house. And so I want to tell you, those arguments you've been making about 1D, 1F must stop. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Majority leader, take note of it. Let me listen to the others so that when you are responding, you respond to them. Sorry? I thought you were continuing on this. Mutala, you were trying to say something before I come to him. Mutala.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to thank my honorable friend for presenting the business statement, even though with some garnished with some mischief. My former friend. And to state that Honorable Yusuf asked him to invite the minister responsible for finance and employment on a very critical matter, the payment of the allowances of the National Youth Employment employees. Honorable Speaker, we each have constituencies, we represent people. the interests of the people we represent, for me, is sine qua non to the relevance of this House. To that extent, when those young people are not paid, it is excruciating. These are young people who move from far distances to discharge their responsibilities as employees under these programs, and they are not being paid for months. I've had calls from my constituents of NAPCO employees, the defunct NAPCO. They are still not being paid. We do know that the communication service tax, 80% of the monies for the communication service tax is given to the National Youth Employment Program, thanks to Prof. Mills and President Mahama, who took it from 25% to 80% when I had the privileged opportunity to have been the Deputy National Coordinator for the National Youth Employment Program. And that money is over 100 million Ghana cedis. Yet you still have beneficiaries under the program who are not being paid. So it is important for the minister responsible for employment and finance to explain to the people of this country through this House why those beneficiaries haven't been paid and why the NAPCO beneficiaries also haven't been paid. Right, Honorable Speaker, I would urge that the majority leader invite the Minister for Finance again on the COVID levy, because he alluded to what government has done when we had COVID. Now, the COVID levy was introduced so that government were able to reap the so-called free water and free electricity they give the people of this country. As we stand today, we are not aware how much government has collected as a result of the COVID levy. If you introduce a tax regime for the purposes of monies you expended to cushion the people of this country, and then people have paid, if we have paid more than what government spent on COVID, then it will amount to extorting the people of this country for monies you shouldn't extort them of. So I think it is important the Minister for Finance is brought to this House to explain to the people of this country how much was spent to provide the free water and the free electricity, and how much they have collected so far on the COVID levy. Another one has to do with Minister of Agriculture. And Right Honorable Speaker, I know you are profoundly concerned about this. The rains have actually started. Farmers are about to start farming. Farmers will have to pay between 300 Ghana cedis to 400 Ghana cedis for 1 hectare of land. One acre, sorry. Between 300 to 400 Ghana cedis. Right Honorable Speaker, I'm a farmer. I still have thousands of bags of my rice at the farm at Yaba. I don't have market for them. Honorable Akando has rice there, no market for them. Honorable Adongo, I can mention Honorable Samson. In fact, including clerks of this House, they have their rice at the farms, they don't have market for them. Yet the state is spending over $2 billion in the importation of rice and poultry products into this country. The NDC handed over to this government a little over $500 million we're spending annually in the importation of rice and poultry products into this country. They have taken it to over $2 billion. Now, the reason why the city is struggling, I am not an economist. It's a simple law of demand and supply. The higher the supply, the lower the price. The lower the supply, the higher the price. So what it simply means is that every year, we have to mop within this domestic market to get close to $3 billion to import something we have the capacity to produce. I have had a discussion with the Minister for Agriculture for them to buy the rice we have produced. As we see today, NAPCO, a disaster management, they are buying imported rice for the people of this country. NAPCO. It doesn't make sense. So, Mr. Speaker, I think it is important, in fact, it is essential for the Minister for Agriculture, who is a member of this House, and the Minister for Finance.
Honorable Member, I have to rush to do something, so the second Deputy Speaker will take the chair. Sorry, I wanted to go.
Yes, Honorable Member for Temale Central, you may continue.
So, Mr. Speaker, it's a simple law of demand and supply. I have had some discussions with the Minister for Agriculture, and I said we have produced the rice. If government decides to buy the rice that is produced in this country, And some of our colleagues are even mailing. Not more. It's still using imported products. It simply doesn't make sense. And I am tempted to agree with Machiavelli when he says, in fact, Aristotle, that society can only change when leaders become philosophers or philosophers become leaders. I think philosophy is in a short supply under this government. And that is why we have the challenges we have today. And I think that something ought to be done about it. Mr. Speaker, this thing is very important. Mr. Speaker, all of us, including other members, in fact, the former Minister for Health himself has thousands of bags of rice at the farm. I know where he farms. Yet government is unwilling. And it is very simple. Those who are importing this rice into this country, I shudder to think that there is something behind why government is a cabal. And unfortunately, the majority of them are not even citizens of this country. Something ought to be done about it. So I think that it is important that, considering the gravity of the challenges that confront us, and the fact that the economy is in disarray, and the fact that people are struggling, importers are complaining day by day, including those who contributed to support President Nanado's campaign in 2016.
Honourable Member, I think this is a very important issue you are raising. Don't you think you have to get a very good platform for this discussion? I believe this is just a business statement for this week. So I would believe that if you can get appropriate platform to discuss these matters you are raising.
Mr. Speaker, who am I to question your directive? But permit me to say that I don't think that there could be any better platform than inviting the ministers responsible, whose comfort are ensured by our taxes, the taxes of our representatives, to come to this house.
Then go to that angle. That let the minister for.
As a matter of fact, that is the angle on which I'm even addressing the issues. Except that maybe I'm not convincing the speaker. I think that the majority chief whip is very convinced, and I know how passionate he is about the suffering of the people of this country, including his constituents. A lot of the importers are coming from his constituents and his region. I have had a lot of dealings with them. The importers are crying day by day. Mr. Speaker, they would import something. You know, when importers import, when I speak as a former deputy minister for trade, it will take them about 2 to 3 months to have the goods arrive in Ghana. So
Honourable Member, your point has been made.
I'm raising several points, actually. I haven't finished raising the points, Mr. Speaker. I haven't finished raising the point. Mr. Speaker, I know a gentleman who's at Obosoka, who's from your constituency. And he's been complaining, they are suffering. And these were people who contributed to support the campaign of Mr. Nanado in 2016. They contributed money. And those people are struggling. Mr. Speaker, you import items into this country, and it takes about 2 months.
Hold on. Let me listen to the chief whip.
Speaker, with respect, there are 1,001 challenges faced by this country. And it is not with any disrespect to my colleague. And he knows how patriotic both of us are. Fact of the matter, that within the limitation of time, we can't exhaust everything today. That is why, in the wisdom of the procedure that we have, we are speaking to business statement. And the Honourable Member for Bolebamboy started it well when he asked about Commander Sugar Factory, whether or not the number of waivers that we've listed, are there possibility of Commander Sugar Factory being dealt with? Look, I'm not undermining what you are saying, but it is not relevant to the business statement. And you are old enough in this house to know this. Because I think my colleague should summarize his point, and then we can make progress. Either we adopt the report or otherwise, and make progress. And you referring to my constituents, have they complained to you? My constituents have told me that under the 1D1F, we have 2. Specialty beer, nano food. No, I'm not complaining. I'm saying that it is work in progress. So if you say that my constituents are complaining, either you have been misinformed, or you don't have to...
Honourable Member for Bolebamboy, please.
We have a responsibility as leadership to guide you, to support you to guide the House. Our colleague should just limit himself to the business statement, and all of us can make.
Thank you very much.
And stop referring to my constituency.
So, Honorable Mutala,
they are very content with my work.
Honorable Mutala, earlier on, that is exactly where I was driving you to.
Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, I take serious exception to the fact that I have not referred to your work as a member of Parliament. I have friends who are from honorable Speaker's constituency, from your constituency, and I dealt with them as a former Deputy Minister for Trade and Industries.
So, Honourable Member, just address the business statement. I think we are going.
Mr. Speaker, honestly, when he says that the issues I'm raising are irrelevant, I think it is insulting to the consciences of the people of this country. Is it not relevant to demand that the minister responsible for finance and employment come to this house to explain to the young people who gave their services to this state?
That one has already been taken on board.
No, but he said it's irrelevant. That's what he said. He said it's irrelevant. Is it not relevant to demand that they should be paid? You, a member of Parliament, if your salary is not received for 3 months, will you come to this house? And these are young people who are taking less than 1,000 Ghana cedis. They have struggled to come to work for this state. They are not given their allowances. I raise it, and you say it is not relevant to business statement. It is, in fact, it is not only necessary, it is essential that we address the issue because they haven't been paid. NAPCO is no longer existing. People have contributed their services to this state. For years they haven't been paid. And then you say it is not relevant. Mr. Speaker, is it not relevant to demand? Mr. Speaker, it's important.
Honourable Mutala, I don't think the relevance issue was in respect to.
No, he said it's not relevant to the business statement.
Honourable Bolly Bamboy, member for Bolly Bamboy, issue has already been dealt with. So I think he raised it and we realized it was very pertinent.
If you recall, Honourable Atfossen, on one of the occasions when we were considering one of the formulae, you were the one who raised the matter on youth employment, if you recall, and said that we should get the amount that was located to a particular function was so high, and therefore we should amend it and make sure that this youth employment, those in afforestation were paid. You said that, and I supported you. Don't get it wrong. We just resume. We just resume. So you have raised these matters, and you are going further to raise importation and all these types of importations. But what are we talking about here? We are talking about the waivers.
Thank you for staying to PENDREAM TV. Really appreciate your time. Please, if you have not yet subscribed as a new member, please do so for us. Hit the notification bell, like, and also share to other members to watch as well. Make sure you share to other members on your contact list or on your group chats. Thank you.
PENDREAM TV now, so far so good. Say open online portal e wo Ghana. Nipa share, nipa follow, nipa comment here. To my best of knowledge, without any biases, PENDREAM TV.